Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So today in this video, as you guys all noticed from the board, we are going to study about the topic motion. So now, what is motion, you may ask? Motion is when an object changes its distance or position with respect to time. It's known as motion. For example, this marker. If this marker goes from this position here to this position here with respect to time, the we can say the marker was in position was in motion. Now, with motion, there comes the opposite of motion, that is rest. Now, you may all know what is rest, and some of you don't, then this is the right video for you. Now, if this marker is not changing its position with respect to time, then we may say that this marker or this object is in rest. If this marker is changing its position here and there, then this is in motion. Now, there are two types of motion: uniform motion and non-uniform motion. Now, what is uniform motion? Uniform motion is when this marker is covering equal distance in equal intervals of time. Then we may say that this marker is in uniform motion. Now, for example, this marker is coming from up to down very slowly with respect to time, and it is not changing its speed. Nevertheless, it is not changing its speed. Then we say that this marker or this object is in uniform motion. Now for non-uniform motion, the definition is if the object or this marker changes its position in uneven changes its position in uneven intervals of time, then we may say that this marker is in non-uniform motion. Such that this marker is reaching till here very slowly, like this. But now suddenly this marker changes its speed to somehow drop very fastly, like this. So now we say that the distance covered from point A to point B, that is here, is very with respect to time is very high. But now if it changes speed to very high, the speed is very high, then the time consumed will be very less, which tells us that the distance covered in uneven intervals of time. Now there are many types of motion, such as rectilinear motion, uniform circular motion, and straight line motion, many other types of motion. But here only we studied two types of motion, that are non-uniform motion and uniform motion. Now here comes our next part, that is about speed, velocity, acceleration, and many more. Now the initial point from where suppose this marker is starting its journey from here, and if from here it is continuously motion, then this point from where the marker starts is known as the initial point or the initial distance, that is noted by V. Now now this is V, that is the initial point. Now this marker is in motion and it stops here, so this is the final point, that is noted by U, which is final point. Now what is speed? Now as I told you that if this marker is in motion, then motion definition is when the object covers some distance in an interval of time. Now from speed also denotes that it is in motion. So motion, can we say that speed is distance upon time. As you can see here, our first formula is speed equals to distance upon time. Now what is velocity? Now what is distance? Distance is, as you already know, distance is a unit which is covered by an object from a point to another point. Now you may all know the time. Now if there comes any statement in which you are confused, that speed is the distance per rate of time. Now here per rate means that it is divided by time. You may not have to be confused in this, as per rate means time, or per rate means the division of something from something. Now you all know what is distance. Now what is displacement? Displacement. Now if this object is covering distance from this point to this point, as this. Now displacement is the shortest path that is covered by an object. Now the marker has covered the distance like this. This is the initial point and this is the final point. So now the displacement is the shortest part. Now we will go. Now we will not go all around like this, but we will go straight. Now this will become the shortest part, which is the from the initial point to the final point. Now what from displacement we get to know about velocity. Velocity is the rate of displacement per time. That is, velocity equals to displacement upon time. Now you will not to get. Now there are some things to remember about distance and displacement. Distance can never be zero. As you all know, distance can never be zero. There is some small amount of thing that is covered by an object. What is displacement? Now here comes the role of displacement. Displacement can be zero, can be negative, and is always and can be positive. Now how can it be zero? If there is a circular motion, if there is circular motion, if this is covering a circular motion. Now if this is the initial point and it covers and the displacement is covering like this, then it is coming only on the final point. Then this is the initial point and this becomes the final point for the displacement. Then the displacement can be zero. If here is the shortest path to go behind, then you may all know that this is zero, from here it is positive and from behind it's negative. So now if the object is covering distance from 0 to the negative side, the displacement is always negative. The distance can be counted as positive and is always positive, but displacement can be 0, can be negative and can be positive. Now here comes the second thing, that is acceleration. Acceleration equals to change in velocity upon total time taken. Now acceleration is change in velocity upon total time taken. The formula for speed, the SI unit for speed is meter per second. The SI unit of velocity is also meter per second, and the SI unit of acceleration is meter per second square. Now with this, I hope you understood all of this. Now there are some parts that are left, but in the next video I will clarify it for you. And this is the best shortcut to learn things. Remember guys, be safe and be healthy.